Grab your rain boots and umbrella. We're in for a flood watch for the next couple of days. Josh Breiter's reporting on how you can help Madison streets crews protect your neighborhood.
Plus, state lawmakers are opening the floor to comment when it comes to a state secretary nominee and the child abuse charges she faced years ago.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the 6 o'clock hour here on News 3 Now This Morning. It is Wednesday, March 13th, and 13th may as well be the unlucky day, right? Because we are being bombarded with rain again.
At least we're in the 50s.
I know.
Yeah. Could be worse.
It's given me a little anxiety thinking back to last summer.
True.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people dealing with flooding still from the fall. This rain and snow melt that we're going to experience over the next couple of days will not help matters at all today. Flood watches have been posted for the entire area. They'll officially start in an hour at 7 o'clock for southern Wisconsin and go through 7 a.m. on Friday morning. So a couple of days to watch the water levels across the region. We've already had one round of showers and thunder, or showers, I should say. Maybe you heard an isolated rumble of thunder across the area overnight, but a little bit of a break right now. Still a pretty heavy drizzle occurring here in Madison, and you can see some more showers lining up to the west that are getting ready to move into southern Wisconsin. So on and off rain through the day today. In addition, mild temperatures and some of that snow melt leading to some fog development across especially southwestern Wisconsin. Monroe visibility is now down to half a mile there. Quarter-mile visibility in Mineral Point, half-mile visibility in Platteville. So watch out for the fog this morning. Temperatures are at least above the freezing point. We're at 39 here in Madison. Many locations are in the upper 30s. We'll top in the low 50s this afternoon. So definitely milder, but very wet today. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning. Roads are wet. Keep that in mind as you head out the door early today. Starting to see the usual crowd show up on Stoughton Road and the Beltline at this hour, but no accidents to report. Looks like you're still going at posted speeds on all those major roads that take you into Madison.
Those roads must be an issue a little bit further north. The Dells just announced they are closing for the day, trying to find out more information about that, but we have some ice on the roads in some areas that is
well, I saw
delays.
some temperatures in central Wisconsin, right around 33, 34 degrees, so that's pretty close to the freezing point.
Yeah, that's the dangerous point right there where the slush and ice comes into play. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
First this half hour, the city of Madison has crews out in full force to try and prevent street flooding here this week.
Today is a crucial day for them when it comes to preventing flood issues, and they're asking for our help. Josh Breiter's live along McKee Road on the city's west side this morning, where there are already steady streams of water this morning. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning. You hear that? No, that is not a waterfall. That is the water rushing down the road here. Just take a look at this. It's not even raining right now. This is from all of the melting snow. And that's why the city is in full force this week trying to clear out these storm drains. You can see some of this crud kind of blocking this one up right here. And that's why the city is asking for your help, because they're having a hard time keeping up with all of these storm drains. And obviously it's hard to keep up with, try and prevent that flooding. So if you do see a flooded street, do not drive through it. We'll remind you of what happened last August after the storm drains couldn't keep up with that heavy rain that we saw. Officials want to remind you to never ever drive through standing water. One, because you don't know the condition the road is in underneath and how deep it is. And two, because it could cause your car to stall out, causing it damage or even worse. So the next 2 days are going to be crucial in this because the temperature is so high with the melting snow and the heavy rain. We're going to see a lot of this flooding and a lot of this crud building up in these storm drains, whether it's ice or snow or just you can see kind of the garbage and debris and leaves that are kind of piling up in this storm drain. So it's really just a mess out here, ladies. So one of those things, you know, if we can just get out in our neighborhood and just check to make sure that they are staying crud-free or debris-free, that way we can try and prevent that flooding, because we all know how bad that can get. Nobody has time for that, for sure. Back to you.
Josh Breiter helping out the McKee Road folks with a little bit of work this morning. Thanks, Josh.
Crud-free is flood-free, apparently. All right, happening now. MG&E crews are out along Seminole Highway this morning, just south of the Beltline, trying to get power restored for more than 500 customers there. You see where that orange dot is. This is a outage map look right now. Those outages started around 4:45 this morning. The utility company says this is due to an equipment failure around there. We do not know if this is related to the weather in any way, and it might take hours before the lights are back on.
Police in Milwaukee are hoping social media will help them catch a suspect in an Amber Alert case. That Amber Alert for Nolani Robinson is still active this morning. Her father accused of killing her mother and kidnapping her Monday night. That's him in that photo, 35-year-old Darius Higgins. Note the unique tattoos on his face. Officers are hoping they will help someone recognize him and call police. A criminal complaint says 24-year-old Sierra Robinson was in Milwaukee to pick up her 2-year-old daughter from Higgins. Higgins reportedly drove up without Nolani and shot at Robinson and her friend, killing Nolani's mother and injuring the other woman. Higgins is still considered armed and dangerous.
In Beloit, police are still working to find the person or people responsible for killing a 21-year-old man and sending 2 others to the hospital. Police say that shooting that happened on Monday night was actually part of a larger fight. This is the second homicide in Beloit in just 2 months and the third since last August. The city's police chief says these shootings are not random and the suspect in each one was specifically targeting the people who were shot. At the state capitol today, lawmakers are considering whether to confirm one of Governor Evers' cabinet members who's accused of child abuse a little more than a decade ago. Dawn Krim was tapped to be the next secretary of the Department of Safety and Professional Services. She was charged with felony child abuse in 2005 when she was accused of stabbing her then 5-year-old son in his hand with a pen until it bled. This was allegedly to show him or teach him a lesson after he poked another child with a pencil at nursery school. Governor Evers has defended Krim, calling her an extraordinary human being. The two work together at Department of Public Instruction. A Senate committee will hold a public hearing on Krim's nomination this afternoon.
Lawmakers will also hear the latest numbers on child abuse and neglect in the state. The Department of Children and Families will share its 2017 report that shows employees received 42,000 reports of child maltreatment that year. 5,000 kids were found to be victims of substantiated cases of abuse, so about 4 per every 1,000 kids in the state. Neglect was the most common type of allegation.
New this morning, California Governor Gavin Newsom plans to sign an order to suspend the death penalty in his state later today. The move would suspend future executions for more than 700 inmates on death row, but only as long as Newsom is governor. Only California voters can vote to repeal the death penalty. In 2012 and again in 2016, voters in the state rejected legislation to do just that. The governor says the death penalty system has provided no public safety benefit or value as a deterrent. And it's unfair, he says, because it's applied more often to people of color and those with mental disabilities. 6:07 right now, in the list of countries and airlines grounding certain Boeing 737s is growing this morning following Sunday's deadly crash in Ethiopia. However, the United States is not one of them.
Those 737 MAX 8s can no longer fly in or out of Hong Kong. The entire European Union won't be using them. And now Norwegian Air Shuttle wants Boeing to pay them for having to ground 18 of their planes. Sunday's crash comes just 5 months after a Lion Air flight, also on a Boeing 737 MAX 8, went down in Indonesia. The FAA still won't ground that type of plane here in the U.S., though, saying its review so far shows, quote, no systemic performance issues. In a statement, Boeing says, quote, we have full confidence in the safety of the MAX.
Still, a lot of pilots and, of course, travelers are voicing some concern over the safety of these MAX 8 models.
If you're flying soon and want to check to see what kind of plane you're booked on, Christina Laurie is in this morning with some easy search tips for you. Christina, what have you found?
Well, during online booking, travelers can see the model of the aircraft assigned to their flight when they choose their seat. Now, several websites like flightstats.com, seatguru.com also provide this information. But if you've already booked a flight, those sites won't help you. So if you're on one of those planes and want to change, get ready to pay up. Here in the U.S., American and Southwest are the only U.S. carriers flying the MAX 8. None fly in and out of the Dane County Regional Airport, but they are used in both Chicago and Milwaukee. American charges a fee of around $200 for domestic flights, and even more if you're flying internationally and want to change. Southwest doesn't charge a change fee, but you'll have to pay any differences in fare prices. That goes even if you have flight insurance. Insurance protects you when governments or airlines ground flights, but if you're opting to switch your flight yourself, you'll have to foot the bill. Head over to channel3000.com for links to the websites where you can check your flight.
Certainly good information, Christina. I know I was just saying I have a flight out of Chicago next month, and a lot of people wondering, is my flight safe?
You should check our weather article.
No, I will certainly do that, and I'm sure a lot of others will too. Thank you, Christina.
6:10 your time now. A local nonprofit that supports families dealing with a cancer diagnosis is celebrating their new and improved space after this summer's flooding put their services on hold for thousands of patients. We're talking with the CEO of Gilda's Club after the break.
And meteorologists are calling whatever is hitting us today a bomb cyclone. That's apparently when the pressure rapidly drops in the atmosphere, causing all of the nastiness in this alert day forecast. We'll see what words Hattie has to describe the system when News 3 Now this morning returns.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. The rain letting up and the drizzle just a little bit here on the west side of town, but there are more rain showers that are getting ready to move into the region. So we're not done with the rain just yet. Take a look at high temperatures yesterday, 30s and 40s across the region. That really did a number on the snowpack. Big changes over the last 24 hours, especially across Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, where we're not seeing any of the pink shaded areas, or at least as much pink as we did yesterday. So the snowpack is dwindling. The rain and warmer temperatures will continue to eat away at that snow across the entire region. All of that moisture, though, has prompted a flood watch for the area. That will go into effect at 7 this morning through 7 a.m. on Friday. We're talking rain totals anywhere from a half to 1 inch total rain over the 3-day period. And again, that rain started overnight. Alert days have been added to the forecast for today and tomorrow due to the moisture that we're expecting. Some areas of flooding could develop across southern Wisconsin. Now here's a wide view of what's happening across the upper Midwest. One area of rain moving out of southern Wisconsin, another area of rain continuing to develop to the west that will move into the Badger State over the next couple of hours. So again, scattered showers are forecast today. Additional rain is expected to be around ½ an inch here across southern Wisconsin. That's on top of what we have already gotten last night. Now we are dealing with some fog as well as the snow melts. There's just a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Here's the view or lack thereof from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville this morning, where visibility is just about ½ a mile. Visibility is also ½ a mile in Monroe, down to ¼ of a mile in Mineral Point, and now less than a mile in Lone Rock. Visibility is coming down here in Madison. Last hour it was 4 miles, so plan on some fog early today. Temperatures are at least above the freezing point for our viewing area. We're looking at 37 in the Dells, 38 here in Madison and Platteville, 39 in Janesville. Winds are from the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour, but they will be increasing through the day as this very strong storm moves out of the plains and a little bit closer to the Badger State. Look for a southeasterly wind to increase to 15 to 25 miles an hour later on today into tonight. So it's going to get very windy around here. We're not done with the rain either. Future Track will show you that scattered showers will continue on and off today. It'll be milder though. Highs will reach the low 50s in many spots this afternoon. We'll stay pretty mild overnight with showers and isolated thunderstorms. And more of the same is in the forecast for Thursday. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have highs close to 60 tomorrow, believe it or not, but a pretty big cool down between Thursday and Friday. A few light snow showers possible, but no accumulation. Highs back in the upper 30s on Friday. Not a bad weekend though, setting up with sunshine and highs right around 40, both Saturday and Sunday. Relatively quiet as we head into next week as well. Let's get a look at your First Alert traffic maps this morning. Josh Tim has all the details. What are you seeing this morning, Josh?
Yeah, with the light rain coming down on the Beltline this morning, so far not causing any major issues with delays in either direction. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. There is some fog in the area to be aware of, and just the usual crowd beginning to show up on Stoughton Road near the Beltline ramps. No delays showing up downtown on campus, but things will pick up over the next hour or so. And other main routes heading into Madison, cruising along at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. So a Middleton nonprofit that supports cancer patients and their families will celebrate in its newly renovated space tomorrow.
Community donations helped Gilda's Club recover from more than $1 million in flood damage this summer, and now they want you to help them celebrate. CEO of the club, Linnea Stens, is joining us to talk about the grand reopening. Good morning and congrats.
Morning. Thank you.
This is so exciting, but I want to take a second to look back at last summer. I mean, 500,000 gallons of water in your basement. Devastating really doesn't describe the damage, does it?
Not even close. Seeing the kind of damage that we had, it was really heartbreaking for many of our members and the folks that we serve.
What are some of the services you lost during that time?
Sure. So one of the things I'm really proud of is that my staff managed to get our critical support services up and running on off-site program sites throughout the community within 2 weeks. So really support groups, cancer education, all the pieces that we do that traditionally run, we were able to keep the support piece running. So it's the education and the fitness activities and things like that that were set aside during this time.
But how important is that home base for you guys?
Oh, it's critical. It really is that warm, welcoming space where our members feel at home and safe and comfortable and feel like they can actually talk about what's going on in their home and in their family when they're dealing with cancer.
Clearly, this space resonated with folks because you had dozens of volunteers come out to help. Do you think that's just a testament to what you folks offer?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges that we face is continuing to offer the programs that we've done for the last 10 years. And when the floods hit, having the whole community wrap around us and come to our aid was astounding and really humbling.
We just saw some of the images of the newly renovated space. Congratulations on that. But you, even with the rain today, said you might be going out to get some sandbags to protect that new space.
I'm certainly going to talk to my staff about that, and we're going to look at what we need to do to protect it. You know, we're really looking forward to getting back to the business of cancer support. And right now we're starting to work on our upcoming events this summer. In June, we have our backyard barbecue. In July, we have a brand new event called Over the Edge, where it's urban rappelling, and people can raise $1,000 and come out and rappel off of the Hilton Monona Terrace.
Wow.
And it's an opportunity that for some people is a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list idea. So we're hoping the community will continue to wrap around us and continue to support the programs that we offer throughout the year.
And they can do that with the grand reopening tomorrow,
Absolutely.
right? Tell us the details.
So tomorrow evening from 4:30 to 6:30 at Gilda's Club Madison, we're having our grand reopening celebration where the entire community is welcome to come in and enjoy music, appetizers, tours of the facilities, seeing the new space. And for those of our members who haven't been back since the floods in August, it's going to be a nice homecoming.
Linnea, so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
All right, your time, they appreciate you. Your time right now is just about 6:20. Parents, if you thought your child was in the clear from catching the flu this season, the CDC says there's a new strain making the rounds.
Definitely feels like we're still in flu season outside. We're looking at 3 straight days of dreary, rainy weather with chances of flooding. Patty's First Alert forecast is coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. It is an alert day today for southern Wisconsin and tomorrow due to the potential for some flooding. Take a look at the radar map this morning. We have another round of rain that's pushing into far southwestern Wisconsin as we speak. A little bit of fog as well has been developing with all the rain and snow melting for the area. Visibilities are coming down to less than a mile. In fact, just a quarter of a mile in Mineral Point and Platteville, half a mile in Monroe, 3/4 of a mile in Lone Rock, down to 2.5 miles here in Madison as well. Areas of fog as well as on and off rain showers are expected through the day today. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s. In fact, even Boscobel's at 40 this morning, but definitely warmer as we start our day today. Temperatures will climb to highs in the low 50s, so you won't need quite as many layers this afternoon, but you'll want to include the rain gear as you head to the bus stop this morning.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you, Hattie. So if you or a loved one relies on Medicaid for health care coverage, there's an update to that program we want to share with you this morning. The head of Wisconsin's Department of Health Services says Governor Evers has no plan B, no backup plan if his proposed Medicaid expansion is rejected. So they're all working to convince Republicans to get on board. The department estimates the governor's plan would provide more than $1.5 billion for health services across the state. The governor's office says that health services budget is anchored in the expansion of Medicaid, something Republican lawmakers have promised to reject. State leaders are also working to persuade healthcare providers and consumers. Wisconsin is one of about a dozen states that has not adopted a Medicaid expansion.
All right, heads up, parents. If you thought flu season was over, far from it, actually. The CDC is suggesting this flu season might not have even peaked yet. Some places are seeing a second wave of cases. More than 60 children have died from the flu so far this season, including one in Milwaukee. Wisconsin is seeing a pretty moderate level of flu cases, according to the latest data, but more than 30 other states are still seeing high activity. Most are now dealing with a different strain of flu than what's made the rounds so far. All right, 6:25 your time now. While some families here in Madison are dealing with severe flooding still from last summer, we are taking a look at more risk for flooding with a forecast that includes 3 straight days of rain. Hattie's going to give us the details. It's coming up after the break.
Plus, a Rock County School District is expanding its investigation after some residents questioned stipends offered by the board's president.
As the rain falls and the snow melts, it's all hands on deck to clear the city's storm drains. I'm Josh Breder live with the latest and how you can help.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning. It is 6:29 on this Wednesday, March 13th. And yes, you are waking up to some rain this morning. We have a handful of school districts either delayed or closed for the day because of this rain, probably turning into some slush or ice.
Good reminder that it can still be dangerous out on the roads, even as we see a little bit of a warm up. Hattie is outside. She's in a little bit of rain. How's it feeling out there, Hads?
Well, check this out. This is the Hattie-O patio this morning. Very fun. It's soaking here in the patio, standing water due to all the snow that's melting around me and the rain that we got overnight. Now, right now, a little bit of a break in the rainfall, but you can see the umbrella is close by this morning. You might want to keep yours as well, close to you as well, because we are expecting more rain. Now, here's a look. Alert days are in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. We're looking at an additional half to almost 3/4 of an inch of rain in some spots, and that's on top of what has already fallen overnight. In addition to the snow that will continue to melt, temperatures are expected to remain above freezing for the next couple of days. So there are some real threats with flooding that may occur here in southern Wisconsin. Some of the river basins that would be most impacted by the flooding concerns, the Baraboo, Fox, Sugar, and Pecatonica rivers. Now, here's a look at Doppler track this morning. Again, we're pretty quiet right now here in Madison, but some rain is already spreading into southwestern Wisconsin once again. We are dealing with fog as well. Visibility, especially in southwestern Wisconsin, has been pretty consistent at a half to a quarter of a mile, so be aware of that. Here's a look at your temperatures over the next 12 hours. We're looking at temperatures climbing to highs in the low 50s, so snow continues to melt today. On and off rain showers with pretty windy conditions, especially later on this afternoon into tonight. Now, expect the roads to be wet this morning. You may encounter some standing water or some ponding water on the roads if the drains are blocked. Remember, never drive on a flooded road. Nothing really happening to slow you down too much just yet, though. Just that construction zone on Verona Road as you head northbound to the Beltline. That's your first alert traffic.
Hads, you were taking a look at some fog out in Platteville this morning. Looks like that might be an issue for drivers too this morning.
Yep, be careful for that. The road temperatures are above freezing, but we're still in the 30s in many spots, so there could be some isolated slippery spots.
All right, we've been warned. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So along with the rain boots and such, we are already seeing the effects of the rain and melting snow this morning.
As we brace for more storms and thawing out, Madison crews are working hard to keep your neighborhood above water. Josh Breiter is live along McKee Road to talk about the ways we can help out. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. All right, are you ready for it? Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to all the drain inlets that you're used to. Yes, in all seriousness, though, it sounds like a waterfall, but we're talking about this drain inlet problem right now. It is all hands on deck for the city trying to clear the 20,000 storm drains across the city. You can see some of the debris from the water rushing down. Now, as the snow melts this week and we get this heavy rain, this is the problem. It's hard for the drainage to keep up, and that's why the city is focused on these storm drains. As this one's clear, a lot of them aren't. Here's some video right now. If that water doesn't go down, that's when we begin to see street flooding. City of Madison engineering crews are out in full force this week, even getting help by the streets department. They're working to remove debris from inlets at known low points to minimize the chance of flooding. Officials want to remind residents that there are almost 20,000 inlets across the city and that it is not feasible for the city crews to uncover them all. Every time we get a melt and every time it rains, a lot of that debris ends up back at the storm drain. So even if they were to clear today, it could be a whole different story tomorrow. And that's why it's very easy. Like, all I have is the shovel this morning and just kind of clearing that back to let that water flow down. And the crazy thing is it's not even raining right now, and this is how fast the water is rushing. So just wait until we see some of that heavy rain later today.
It
so
really
ladies, I don't know if... Go ahead.
Josh, it really doesn't take much, you know. You have just a shovel. It takes you a couple of minutes to help out city crews.
It's very easy, and that's what the city says is, you know, they have 20,000 of these that they have to pay attention to every day, and obviously they can't get to them all. So it's really easy. Just go outside of your house, and just took me a couple seconds to do this, and I didn't even break a nail this morning. So
little help goes a long way. Josh Breiter reporting live for us. Thank you, Josh.
All right, speaking of prevention methods here, emergency management officials in Columbia and Sauk counties are providing free sandbags this morning to help prevent some flooding there. You can pick those up from the Columbia County Highway Shop in Wyacina, the Department of Public Works building in Portage, or you can call the city of Columbus to pick them up there. In Sauk County, that is, the West Baraboo Garage has piles of sand and bags for you to assemble your own. If you want the latest alerts or personalized radars, you can be sure to download our free Channel 3000 First Alert weather app on your phone or tablet. Then in Lafayette County, the city of Darlington is also preparing for flooding downtown along the Pecatonica River. That waterway is already about 10 feet high, and the National Weather Service expects it to crest around 14 feet, 11 inches. The city closes Main Street if that river reaches 15 feet, so just 1 inch between that threshold and when it closes. If that happens, it would be the second time in recent months that area would be shut down for flooding concerns. The city does have storm flood shields that FEMA handed over last summer, but it does not expect businesses to need those this time around.
For some, today's flood preparation means speeding up work they're already doing after last year's flooding. Here in Madison, Elizabeth Jane Barber and her mom, Janet Hoops, are in the process of raising Janet's house after the basement flooded twice in the last 2 decades. She owns a home on University Avenue, along with Janet's Antiques right next door. They say their neighborhood near Hilldale Mall is prone to flooding, and getting the foundation up about 6 inches higher will hopefully keep them from dealing with this problem again.
Up in Wood County this morning, a 56-year-old man is suspected of mistreating and abandoning animals after police found a group of puppies outside his home. Marshfield police found 8 newborn puppies still alive in a garbage bag last month. They arrested Robert Wild, the owner of the home where those puppies were found, and according to a release, those pups are doing well at the Marshfield area pet shelter. They will be up for adoption in the coming months. Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, Madison police are looking for 2 men who robbed a liquor store off Park Street. This happened at 9 o'clock last night at West Badger Liquor. Police say 2 armed men beat up a clerk and got away with money. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police.
The Milton School Board is broadening its investigation into stipends for school administrators to the past decade. This comes after an attorney found no intentional wrongdoing just last week when the board president issued tens of thousands of dollars in stipends without the board's approval. The Janesville Gazette reports the district announced earlier this week, after a 2-hour closed session discussion, that a few additional issues will be investigated, and that investigation will focus on the district's stipends over the past 10 years. It's not clear yet who will be overseeing that review.
Less than 3 weeks away from the spring election, Dane County's executive says he supports a change in the mayor's office. Joe Parisi is officially endorsing longtime Madison Mayor Paul Soglin's challenger, Satya Rhodes Conway.
I think that our city has incredible potential. We're doing well, but we could do so much better. And what we really need at this point in our city's history is someone with a clear vision of where we're going and the knowledge and the ability to move us in that direction.
Parisi has worked with Mayor Soglin since 2011 when he first took over the county executive office. Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney is endorsing Mayor Soglin for re-election.
Dane County officials are working to increase funding and access to doula services. Those are trained professionals who support families before, during, and after childbirth. The county's Board of Health says studies have shown families who receive doula services have better outcomes at lower health care costs. Those include the potential to decrease birth-related complications. Dane County has persistent disparities between Black and white mothers, including severe maternal morbidity, low birth weight, and infant death. The Board of Health is calling on insurers to cover or reimburse costs for doula services and contract with doula providers who can best serve families of color.
6:38 right now. If you tried to check your Gmail or download something off of Google Drive last night, the search engine that is still trying to figure out if an error affected 1 billion users. We'll have an update in the morning sprint.
Plus, a handful of Wisconsin breweries are topping a national best of list. We'll tell you who made the cut when News 3 Now This Morning continues. All right, while some Wisconsin breweries are topping the Brewers Association list for 2018's top craft breweries in the U.S., the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Minhas down in Monroe is ranked 15th among craft breweries and 24th among breweries overall. It also happens to be the second oldest brewery in the country. Pretty neat. New Glarus Brewing, which only sells beer here in Wisconsin, is ranked 16th among craft breweries and 25th overall. And Stevens Point Brewery ranked 22nd. Miller Coors ranked 2nd, and Anheuser-Busch came in at number 1.
Honestly, it might be a good day to kick back with a cold one.
Yeah.
Inside, though, we have rain, thunderstorms, fog, all of it today and tomorrow. Hattie is going to look at her alert days. And boy, it really got foggy out there. It's all coming up in her forecast.
But first, it's March 13th. We want to say happy birthday to Laura and all of the kids turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Alert days are in the forecast for today and tomorrow. Scattered showers and even a few isolated rumbles of thunder will be possible. All of that rain combined with melting snow could lead to areas of flooding across southern Wisconsin. We're talking urban flooding, rural flooding, everywhere is a possibility. A flood watch is in effect for all of southern Wisconsin starting at 7 o'clock this morning, going through 7 a.m. on Friday, so for the next 48 hours. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. We're in between areas of rain here in Madison, but some rain already spreading into southwestern Wisconsin. It will continue to lift off to the east-northeast over the next couple of hours. Expect expect this sort of trend to continue through the day today. You can see that the rain is lining up all the way back into the plains. The actual area of low pressure responsible for all of this moisture is in eastern Colorado this morning, and it's a pretty strong storm. It has been rapidly weakening over the last 24 hours. It's essentially has a pressure associated with a Category 2 hurricane. So it's a pretty strong storm. A lot of moisture associated with this storm. Note on the back side of it, on the cold side, there is some snow that will be creating blizzard-like conditions for parts of the northern plains. As this storm system gets closer to Wisconsin, our chances for rain just continue across the region. Cloudy skies and southerly winds, so very mild conditions. Those southerly winds are going to pull temperatures into the area that we haven't seen for several months. We could be approaching 60 degrees for highs tomorrow. Now, as the storm passes through the state, there will be colder air wrapping around and behind it, but by that time, most of the moisture is already off to the east, so any impacts from snow will be very minimal for the region. Things quiet down then for the upcoming weekend. But as far as rain is concerned, we're still looking at an additional ½ an inch of rain on top of what has already fallen overnight. So totals for the 3-day period will range from ½ to 1 inch. Here's a look from the Edgewater Sky Cam. The Capitol's right here. Can't even see the top of the dome this morning. We have low clouds and fog in the area. Visibility is about 2.5 miles in Madison. South and west of the city, though, we're looking at visibilities at just 1/4 mile right now in Platteville, Mineral Point, and Monroe, now down to 1/4 mile visibility. So be aware of the fog. Temperatures are above freezing just by a couple of degrees. 37 in Platteville, 37 in Mineral Point, 38 here in Madison. Now, your future track forecast model keeps chances for rain in the forecast today. Look at these temperatures, though, this afternoon, climbing into the low 50s. Rain continues for the area tonight. Will stay very mild in the upper 40s and low 50s, and that rain chance then continues through the day on Thursday. We will turn sharply colder on Friday. A few snowflakes possible, but drying out for the weekend with a lot of sunshine and temperatures right around 40 degrees. That's pretty close to normal for this time of the year.
Woohoo!
After the last couple of weeks, it's just going to be normal. Love Tootsie. We all kind of feel like that this morning, I think. It will be in the 50s today, but pretty gray and wet.
Yeah, Tootsie waiting to run out in the mud, I think.
Maybe.
All right, thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
The Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 Now this morning. It is almost 6:52, time for the morning sprint. Hattie has an alert day in effect today and tomorrow for heavy rainstorms and flooding possible.
Speaking of flooding, Josh Breiter's on the Madison's west side with more on the city's efforts to keep the water down. Josh?
Are out in full force today trying to prevent that street flooding. They're primarily focused on the 20,000 inlets like this one across the city. As the temperatures warm up and the snow is melting fast, and then you add the heavy rain into that mix, it's making for inlets starting to clog up. If that water doesn't go down, that's when we begin to see street flooding. Because there are so many drains across the city, officials are asking you for your help in making sure they remain clear. So take a look around your neighborhood and see if you can make room for that water to drain.
Thank you, Josh. In Lafayette County, the city of Darlington's preparing for flooding downtown along the Pecatonica River. That waterway is already about 10 feet high, and the National Weather Service expects it to get around 14 feet 11 inches. That is just an inch or so below the level where the city would shut down Main Street.
And we're starting with fog this morning as well as some rain. Take a look at the current visibility, down to less than 2 miles in Madison. Less than half a mile, though, for southwestern Wisconsin. Rain is in the forecast on and off today as well. Another round of rain pushing into southwestern Wisconsin will move into the Madison area as we go through the next couple of hours. So on and off rain showers today with areas of fog, but pretty mild. Temperatures will top in the low 50s this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie. The most senior Catholic official ever convicted of child sex abuse will spend the next 6 years in an Australian prison. 77-year-old Cardinal George Pell was convicted of molesting 2 choir boys in a Melbourne cathedral back in 1996. Pell maintains his innocence and says his lawyers plan to make an appeal. He is eligible for parole after 3 years and 8 months. His appeal will be heard in June.
Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort will be back in court today for his final sentencing. He now faces up to a decade behind bars for 2 conspiracy charges. Last week, he was sentenced to almost 4 years in federal prison for financial crimes, far shorter than the 24-year maximum. The White House still has not said if President Trump plans to pardon Manafort.
More than 50 people are now charged in the largest college cheating scheme ever prosecuted. Investigators say wealthy parents paid ringleader William Rick Singer, who's already pleaded guilty, a total of $25 million to get their kids into top American colleges. Among those who paid are actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman.
These planes are accidents waiting to happen.
It makes sense to ground an aircraft that's been involved in 2 very tragic accidents in only 6 months.
So those are lawmakers reacting as the list of countries and airlines grounding Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets grows. The FAA is facing more pressure to do the same here in the United States. This comes after Sunday's deadly crash in Ethiopia and another just months ago in Indonesia. Now, aviation officials in a number of countries have banned the aircraft altogether. A Norwegian-based airline plans to sue Boeing for having to ground the planes. The FAA says its review so far shows, quote, no systemic performance issues. In a statement, Boeing says we have full confidence in the safety of the MAX.
So how can you tell if you're booked on a MAX 8? SeatGuru.com, FlightView.com, and FlightAware.com all say which aircrafts are planned for use on a particular flight. But a heads up, airlines can change planes up until boarding time. If you find yourself booked on a MAX 8 and want to change flights, you'll have to pay a change fee of around $200 if you're flying American or Air Canada. That fee is even higher if you're flying internationally. Southwest doesn't charge a change fee, but you'll have to pay any difference in fare prices. That even goes for travelers with flight insurance. Insurance protects you if the airlines or government grounds flights, but not if you opt to switch planes for yourself.
Christina, thank you. In Illinois, funeral services will be held today for the McHenry County Sheriff's deputy that was killed last week while serving a warrant. 35-year-old deputy Jacob Keltner was shot at a hotel in Rockford as authorities tried to arrest 39-year-old Floyd Brown. A visitation was held yesterday with thousands of people stopping to pay their respects. Funeral services are scheduled for 10 this morning in Woodstock.
State lawmakers will consider whether to confirm Don Krim as the next Secretary of the Department of Safety and Professional Services. That appointment is in question due to a felony child abuse charge she faced back in 2005 when she allegedly stabbed her son in the hand with a pen. That charge was later removed from her record. Governor Evers continues to defend his choice.
If you were having problems uploading files to your Google Drive or downloading attachments in Gmail last night, you're not the only one. Google says Gmail and Drive are investigating reports of errors and unexpected behavior. That started just before 10 last night. The good news is the issue should be resolved by this morning. Google has not confirmed the cause of that problem yet.
6:57, let's turn it over to Josh Tim with one more look at the roads this morning. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning. Picking up on the westbound Beltline between Stoughton Road and Monona Drive, adding in a minute or two to your time. John Nolan not looking too bad on the inbound side. Just a few brake lights near Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive. Northbound Verona Road, you're on the brakes approaching the Highway PD intersection. And other main routes heading into Madison, still cruising along at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And here's the view from the Edgewater Skycam. Can hardly see the Capitol this morning. There's definitely some fog developing across southern Wisconsin. Expect some scattered rain showers as well. So wet roads as you head to work and school this morning. Your day planner takes temperatures, though, into the low 50s this afternoon.
All right, try and stay dry out there, folks. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 4:30.